And back on the podium in the third and final Bennetts British Superbike Championship race of the weekend here at Thruxton for McCann's Racing Yamaha. It's Danny Kent. Danny, it's been a great day for you. 2 podiums, closing the gap at the top of the championship standings. But it felt like a bit of a different race in race 3. Can you talk us through it, please?
Yeah, it was a completely different race, race 3 to race 1. The pace was a lot faster. Race 1 we was dropping into the 17s, and I think in that race it was like constantly 16.2s, 16.3s, and track temp was a lot higher as well, which makes things a lot more difficult for us. But no, just hats off to the team. Team gave me a mega bike all weekend. It was really nice to repay them, obviously after a bad weekend in Brands, where we didn't come away with just 1 point. It was nice to come away with Thruxton with 2 podiums. So I'm happy. Of course, I'm a little bit disappointed with not getting a win, but I'm sure it's just around the corner at some point.
And we head to Cadwell next. What are your thoughts on the next round coming up?
Cadwell has always been a bit of a tricky circuit for me, a bit like Alton, but we improved massively this year at Alton. So the plan for me is just to go there, do as many laps throughout the Thursday or the Friday evening practice, try and familiarise myself with the track, and maybe look at a little track day during the week.
Thank you, Danny. And taking a first podium for the C&L Fairburn Racing Honda team, it's Billy McConnell. Billy, you've been a podium finisher in Bennetts BSB before, but to do it with this team, the team that has been built around you since you were in Superstock, and to do it here must be a great feeling. And you've been fighting at the front in all the races this weekend. It's just not quite happened in race 1 and 2. Talk us through it and what made the difference in race 3, please.
Yes, big thanks to C&L Fairburn. Look forward, and the whole team, like you said, was built around me when we got put in a position late on in the year. We started with Superstock, and then next thing you know, we're in Superbike 2 years later. So big thanks to the team. The first race, we thought we had a good race as well. Unfortunately, Kyle got us in the last corner. I was happy to settle in second, and Ryan gave us a bit of a nudge into the next left, and then pushed me onto the painted green lines, and then lost all my drive into there. But if I said I was going to get a 5th in the first race, I would have been happy with that. And then obviously your expectations go up as you get a better result. From the first part of the weekend, we knew we had a good bike. The Hondas worked really well. Andy Jemison's done a good job, and the Honda guys for giving us some good information. So yeah, can't fault the team's performance. All my mechanics, all the sponsors, and it's nice to put some silverware back in the pocket for them.
And you had to have some lightning quick reactions when Tommy had a moment coming out of the chicane. Talk us through that, please.
Yeah, there wasn't really much to be talked about there. Tommy went in there, and obviously people were riding a little bit more cautious to try to save the tyre, and then it was like the throttle just completely, or an engine or something, and just decelled. And luckily we sort of just on the flicker direction where we're on the outside of the tyre. If we're on the inside, it probably would have flicked us over. So we're just lucky we're on the right side of the rear wheel there.
And next up we go to the team's home round at Cadwell Park. That's a track that's always been good for you, particularly in the other classes. How much are you looking forward to it?
It was a last round. It was my first podium in Superbike there when I was with Smiths on the BMW. So we're really looking forward to it. Yeah, like you said, team's home round, so there'll be a lot of support there. So I'll best pull my finger out.
Thank you, Billy, and congratulations.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
And making it an incredible winning double today at Thruxton for Grilla OMG Racing Yamaha is Ryan Vickers. Ryan, that was another calculated race from you. We were talking before about how you had to plan the race when it's like that, especially with the heat today being more than yesterday. How did you play that race? And equally, talk us through that last corner.
Yeah, so the race today, like you say, the temperature was up, 20-lap race. It's always going to be a bit more difficult on the tyres, but it comes into my hands and the Yamaha hands a little bit more. We worked really hard on Friday, doing full race runs. I don't know how many laps I've done around this circuit this weekend, but I think I did nearly 10 more than anyone on Friday. So that just shows the sort of work that we put in, and it's paid off. We definitely had more than anyone at the end of them races. And that last race, I was in the lead and just chilled out. Danny come past at the start, and I sat there 4th, 5th, really happy, and I could just. I didn't want to lose too many more positions. That's why I took Jackson again, got past Danny, and then I just sat there in behind Carl for a little while. I just picked my point. I didn't want to go back as far as what I did yesterday. I thought I was a little bit too risky. I just used my head, and then when I got to the front, I didn't really want to, but I see Billy was in the lead, and his pace wasn't coming as easy, I don't think. So I thought, right, I'll go in the lead because Billy's really hard to pass. He's great on the brakes. So I thought maybe I'll up the pace slightly to what I'm comfortable doing. And I went down to like a 16.1, which is really, really good pace. And I I just held it at that for a little while. The gap sort of opened up a tiny bit and then went back down to 0. So then I just chilled out, I just kept doing my marks, kept doing it, not destroying the tyre on the rear, just trying to carry a lot of momentum and not scrub off any speed. So I didn't use as much tyre. And then I see 4 laps to go on my pit board. I upped it in 2 or 3 areas, just corner speed wise, just tried to really flow through the corners a little bit more, just to try and put a little bit of time into them. And then 3 laps to go, I then started trying to use some of the rear grip. And yeah, luckily I had a little bit left. The last lap there wasn't much, but I was lucky enough that coming onto the last lap I see 0.6, and I knew just a nice clean lap, smooth lap would be good enough. But the only thing is then, so we go on to the last corner. I think I'm making this a bit of a trend with Navarra, but Brands Hatch was a little bit smoother. But yeah, we come into the last corner. I mean, obviously 0.6 coming onto the last lap. I've got a gap, but I know what it's like at Thruxton. And because I'd led for so long, I didn't know where all the competitors' tyres were at. I didn't know. Sometimes they can be sat behind you and they're chilling out and they've got loads of tyre left. And then other times they can be pushing to the limit and not got much left. So I didn't want to get out broken on the last corner, so I really did brake late. Probably later than I've done all weekend, to be honest, with the worst tyre. But yeah, come in drifting sideways, and then I ran wide on the first corner, and then that made the left really, really tight. And yeah, there was a little moment, just touched the gas and it pulled the rear around a little bit, but it looked worse than what it was. I mean, it was probably about a 15% slip rear tyre there, and you come around church at about 30 on the last lap. So in comparison, rather than 20 mile an hour, we're used to doing that at about 160. So it was pretty minuscule in that side, but yeah, but thanks to the team, they really believed in me this weekend. We changed a lot. We started with a bike that we hadn't before. I kind of come here with the attitude as, well, we know what last year's bike was like, and it wasn't good enough. So we needed to find something new. So let's not waste FP1's first run. Let's start with something new, as if we was going into race 4 last year. And we did exactly that. We're changing big mechanical parts on the bike that we haven't really tried before. And even if we had, we didn't get any good luck with it. So we tried that, and that worked amazing. And then just little tweaks over the weekend, just trying to find our way of actually just creating more grip. Because the SC1, obviously the tyre that we don't tend to use throughout the whole season, has got a lot less grip than the Zero. So for me, the main aim was getting as much grip as possible. You would have thought you would use it more, but actually if you've got grip, you can then stop it from spinning. If you've got no grip, you spin from the start. So the team believed in me on that side, and they've created an amazing bike, giving me every opportunity to do the triple here. I let them down on race 1, but yeah, I think that was just maybe being a bit too conservative at the start, but the pace was quite slow, so there was a massive group of people, It was a huge group of people. In that last race, I stretched them out a little bit, and I see on my pit board there was only a group of 4, so really, really happy. What an amazing weekend. To keep this run of form going is incredible, and it's probably the hardest track on the calendar, and we've managed to come away with a second and 2 wins. So let's roll on, Cadwell. My favourite track, probably my best track. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And just to touch on when you said you had a completely different bike this weekend, what was it that made the difference? And is that something that you can take to another track, or is because the way Thruxton is, the nature of it, that won't be relevant when we get to, say, somewhere like Cadwell Park?
Yeah, it's just a way of creating more grip, really, apart, and actually we tried it in Navarra when we was testing, and it actually created too much grip. So on a normal circuit where you've got more grip, and on a normal tyre where you've got no more grip, it actually encountered causing chatter. So I don't think that it will be used much more. It could be something that we could try again. I don't think we had a fair test at Navarra. It was a bit of a rush thing. We tried it. We didn't really change the bike setup at all to try and help it. So yeah, I think maybe, but the bike that we had at Brands Hatch, there was nothing wrong with it. So we'll go back to Cadwell with that bike probably, and we'll build from there. But Cadwell does a test evening, so that might give us the opportunity. Might feel like, well, we go out in the first bit of the test and think, the bike's working really well, we've got nothing to lose, let's try it, and then it might give us a little bit more. So let's see. The team know what they're doing. I don't need to tell them. They're really clever guys, and I'm fortunate to have that behind me. And yeah, it's just I'm really glad that I can repay them with this great success.
Thank you and congratulations,
Yeah,
Ryan.
thanks to all my sponsors. Cheers.